Ladies and gentlemen, today is November 20th, 2011. My name is Michael Fazio, and of course I am the author of the book Angels on the Ark, which brings you the understanding of pictography in relationship to the codices or codex that exists between the words in the living Bible and the pictographs that appear on the reverse and obverse of the $1 bill. And all of you can go see my video called Revelations 4:7 and see how the pictographs that you see before you on your screen that exist on the ends of the $1 bill are in direct, precise relationship to the words in Revelations 4, 6, and 7. However, I can do that with over 3,000 pictograms or pictographs or pictographs or icons or whatever you choose to call them. There are several different words for the same thing, and whatever you choose to call them, I do what is known as iconology, where I study the secret meanings that go beyond the actual characterizations of the objects themselves in relationship to the way they relate to one another on the obverse and reverse of the $1 bill and the codices that exists in the Bible, because an ancient race of beings, either from this world or from another world, has left this here for their remnant society that still rules this world, and in all probability these remnant societies live amongst us and perhaps under the ground. That is not the point of this dissertation. They know who they are, I know who they are, they know how I know. But the point of this dissertation is to show you how the caricature of the God pod on the reverse of the $1 bill, and I'm going to just zoom in on this so that you can take a good close look, and I can tell you that there are 75 faces and or representations of icons in this pictograph that you see on your screen. However, where we're going to go now is we're going to go to Angels on the Ark in my book, and a page number 10 in my book. And what we're going to do at that point is we're going to close out Dragon Naturally Speaking, and then we're going to go to this page of the book of Genesis, the origin or coming into being of something. In other words, the book of Genesis says the origin or coming into being of something. That's the definition in the dictionary, folks. The Webster's 20 on the Bridge Dictionary, which I have on my other desk. And therefore, by definition, the word Genesis itself is the creation of life from nothingness, represented in the God pod. Is the light of heaven, given sustenance to nutrients and minerals in the ocean that eventually formed on earth. Something called photosynthesis that the greatest minds on earth have not been able to unlock. I was kind of goofing on these great so-called scholars. They can't unlock the simplest of things, and yet they profess to be scholars. They get paid scholarly wages, but none of them could shine a light on the information that I bring you pertaining to the words and codices in the Bible, to the pictographs on the $1 bill, because this stuff predates all of mankind by tens of thousands of years. However, we're going to page down at this point, and then we're going to go to this page number 10, the bottom of the page. The book of Genesis and its first 18 verses are a direct and perfect correlation to each and every item in what I call the God pod. And there is no other pictograph on earth that explains the book of Genesis more perfectly than the God pod. This is page 10 of Angels on the Ark that you can review by clicking the link under my video. Now we're going to go to page 11, and we're going to talk about the book of Hebrews, which is a book of prophecy. As does the Bible speak in mysterious ways, the book of Hebrews is even especially prophetic in nature, ranging from long distant past to present day society in the form of prophecy that can only be understood once the underlying code or methodology of the prophecy itself is comprehended. And that, my friends, was not an easy thing for me to do. In fact, I thought I was going crazy for a long time. And so did the priests and so-called experts in theology and religious institutions when I put forth some of my basic concepts that the Bible and the $1 bill were associated with one another. Each and every one of them had a rote, memorized answer that nobody could interpret the Bible. Only God could interpret the Bible, and it's up for each person. Well, I say different. I say the Bible was meant for a specific group of people, aka that remnant society of beings that have lived and have completely controlled this world for tens of thousands of years. Now, moving past that, the book of Revelation, as mere words, as you will soon see, cannot do the book of Revelation justice. However, at this point, I can only say that unless you comprehend the underlying premise of the entire Bible, and I mean the entire Bible, I mean the nonsense part and the parts that you think are important, because it's all part of the most complex worded document in the history, perhaps, of the universe. It may have been used on other planets. It may have been in use for tens of thousands of years. However, the Bible, from a prophetic nature, has merit, because the people or remnant society that put the Bible into existence and created the 3,300 pictographs on the $1 bill did this for the specific reason to relate information to their descendants through these two codices that perfectly align with one another. And in this case, however, the key to many of the prophecies in the entire Bible relating to today's world revolve around the understanding of the most complex piece of artwork ever created in all of time, that has allowed the Lord God to spread His word through the world, and at the same time blinded you to the word itself in order that prophecy, aka the book of Revelation, would become a reality. Of course, now this is important, folks, pay attention. Of course, the only way this could have taken place is that the Lord God hoodwinked you all. And each and every man, woman, and child on earth has been hoodwinked by what I call the angel of the Lord God. Thus the name of my book, hoodwinked by the name of my channel, hoodwinked by an angel, and the name of my book, Angels on the Ark, because the same angel has been hoodwinking the people of this world, and the same angel is represented upon the $1 bill, which is in fact a perfect representation of the Ark of the Covenant, including the mercy seat and the poles of shittim wood. So anyone that doubts the sincerity of my words is welcome to prove me wrong, and for 18 months, you so-called scholars, and I put my big bandana on today, I won't abuse you so-called religious theologian scholars. I won't say anything bad to you, because you know me, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy that just lets it roll off my back when I find that people are not intellectual enough to understand the prophecies that they themselves speak. I won't rub it in, not me, because the so-called scholars that have spent millions of dollars in seminary school have still not acknowledged that Michael Fazio found the Ark of the Covenant on the reverse of the $1 bill, because in fact if they did that, it'll be like spanking them. I'd spank them in public. I'd debate anybody in the world, anywhere in the world, on my postulations. I'm moving past that. Now that we got that behind us, again, by the way, we're going to go to the cover of my book, Angels on the Ark. It has a full index on the left-hand side. It expands. It has a search engine. It does everything any electronic book does, and probably quite a bit more. And that book is purchased through GoDaddy, and the payment is done through PayPal. Now we're going to go to this particular pick the picture that I have, and we're going to expand this picture. Okay, we're going to expand this picture. Okay, we're not going to expand that picture. Here we go. We're going to expand that picture. And then we're going to open that picture up. And this is a picture in my book. And these are the words that associate themselves on the reverse of the $1 bill. A very simple reality of what associates themselves on the $1 bill, folks. This is not a complete, if you had to make a complete list of associations between words and pictographs, it would be about 4 or 5 pages in small print. But moving past that, let me explain to you why the Lord God placed the pictograph of the Great Pyramid inside what I call the God Pod, because, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you something. The God Pod and the Great Pyramid are two of the same types of entity that the Lord God chose as the Ark of the Covenant. The reverse of the $1 bill and the Great Pyramid are two different and identical Ark of the Covenants that the Lord God chose to place upon this world.